Shalom, big sisters! Congratulations on being selected to be a big sister and a wonderful role model for our incoming freshmen. I'm excited to see you freshman orientation, catch up a bit, and have the opportunity to learn now and to learn on the morning of freshman orientation. First of all, thank you for facilitating our learning with our freshmen. Just to go over a little bit of the schedule and a little bit of how this is going to work. We are going to meet, I believe, before even the freshmen come, just to go over the material in person, but this video is just meant to give you a little bit of a heads up and to kind of walk through the material with you beforehand. We are going to daven. We'll explain how davening is going to work. Please God, this year at Central, we are going to be putting a lot of effort into trying to make tefillah more meaningful and more personal throughout the year. There'll be a small break for a delicious breakfast, and then we are going to continue our learning together. Each big sister will join her little sisters. They'll receive a packet, or a source sheet, I should say. The source sheet should be included in this email that you'll find this video. So feel free to go through it ahead of time. And this is what we're going to be learning the morning of. We are going to be concentrating on a parak of Tehillim that we add from Rosh Chodesh Elul through the Yamim Noraim, known as L'David Hashem Ori, Parak Chav Zayin of Tehillim. It's a beautiful parak. The parak is very unique in its choice because if I'd ask you what kind of themes would you expect to find in the parak that we're going to say every day from Elul through the Yamim Noraim? You might tell me a parak on Tshuva, maybe a parak on Tzedek u'Mishpat, Tefillah, Tzedakah, Chait, anything, Shofar, apples and honey, if we would find a parak that had something to do with apples and honey. But meaning we would really try to look for those kind of themes in a parak that we would want to use from Elul through the Yamim Noraim. However, in studying parak Chav Zayin of Tehillim, we find that David Hashem Ori doesn't really have those themes, but has a very unique theme, but might hold the key as to giving us access as to what we should be thinking about during this month of Elul, and giving us perspective, maybe as freshmen, as students, and as just Ovdei Hashem. So what I'd like to do is to just go over very quickly our learning for that morning. Please feel free to email me or to reach out if you have any questions. And again, hopefully we'll have some time the morning of freshman orientation to go through it again in person. You'll find that on your session packets there'll be guided questions, so that will also be there as a guide. But what we'll ask the freshmen to do is to take their newly given Sidurim and open up to L'David Hashem Ori. You'll have the text there in Hebrew. The session sheet will have it in English, already broken up into two parts. This Dvar Torah was taken actually by Rav Elchanan Samet, and it's a beautiful idea, and hopefully something that the freshmen will feel inspired by, and we ourselves as well. So what happens is that if you go through the parak, you'll see that there's actually two different approaches, from Sukkim Aleph through Vav, and then Zayin through Yud Gimel. Aleph through Vav, as we called it, part A, has a theme of confidence. If you go through the Sukkim there, right, Hashem is Ori v'ishi, my light, my salvation. It talks a little bit about how all the enemies fall by the wayside, and there's nothing to fear because God is there for us. And that ultimately, Achat Shalti Meis Hashem, I have such confidence in my relationship with Hashem, I can even make one request of God, Shifti Bebeis Hashem, and you see that the author of this parak is very, very confident in these psukim. And then you move on to part B, and part B has a very different tone. That tone is much more of insecurity. Shema Hashem b'koli, that Aneni, please Hashem, listen to my call, listen to my voice. V'chaneni v'aneni, we ask Hashem, al taster panecha mimeni. We say ki aviv yami zavuni. Everyone has abandoned me, my parents. Please don't be the one to abandon me, God. I need you, Hashem. And ultimately, we see a very different tone in this second part, one of which of insecurity. So as you learn this, or these two parts with your little sisters, allow them to see the theme emerge. Maybe you'll come up with your own, and that's the beauty of Torah, that there's so many different ways that the text could speak to us. But that's just one idea that I wanted to highlight now. But go through Psukim Aleph through Vav, part A, and see the theme that emerges, and then go through Zayin through Yud Gimel to see what other theme emerges. And I think you'll find that that breakup is pretty solid. That there's a more confident tone in part A and a insecure tone in part B. Just to let the creative juices flow, we ask that you create like a hashtag for each part. The reason for that is really just to create like an overarching theme, and hashtags are just a little bit cooler than just saying make a title. So just to allow yourselves to have some fun and to do some creative thinking. What hashtag would I give part A? What hashtag would I give part B? But really, in essence, we're asking you what kind of title would you mark each part. The last pasuk of this parak is Kaveh el Hashem, Chazak v'yametzibecha v'kaveh el Hashem, have hope in Hashem, right? Strengthen and have a courageous heart, and then have hope in Hashem. And the question is, what does that pasuk do for us? As we see that all the other pasukim are accounted for part A and for part B. Pasuk Yud Dalet seems to be like the unifying factor of these two parts. So how does it unify these two parts? So on a textual level, it's interesting that Kaveh el Hashem comes up twice. And it might be that we're taking part A and applying Kaveh el Hashem, and taking part B and applying the second Kaveh el Hashem. And what's in the middle? Chazak v'yametz libecha, that our heart should be strong and courageous, ultimately with hope in God. And so the next question we really have to ask ourselves here is what's going on? Why do we have these two halves? And what's the greater message here? So I think what's interesting is that this parak really reflects a little bit of the religious experience. Sometimes in our lives we feel very confident, and sometimes in our lives we feel very insecure. And as the author of this parak is showing us, there are moments where we feel God is really close by. We feel like Hashem is present. He's like shown himself to us to a certain extent in our lives, and we feel that we're unstoppable. And then there are times that we feel that he's hiding from us, or that we are the ones to go out to seek God, and we're begging Hashem, as the pasuk says, Horeini Hashem derkacha, teach me, God, your ways, so that I can come close to you, and we make the effort. And an idea as to why maybe we read this during the month of Elul through the Yamim Noraim is because we find that this time really, as much as we concentrate on tshuva and being better, is also a time where we say that our relationship with Hashem is very important, and also Hashem is close. We say Ani ledodi v'dodi li. We take the letters of each of the beginning of those words of that beautiful pasuk in Shir Hashirim to make the acronym Elul, Ani ledodi v'dodi li. Right, my beloved is, I am for my beloved is for me. And it represents that relationship that we have with Hashem. At times, Hashem is close to us and we feel him, and other times we seek out Hashem. And it's this give and take, it's this back and forth. Another idea as to maybe why it's read during the Yamim Noraim, or this and the month of Elul, is that if we actually think about the Yamim Noraim, it actually parallels this experience. We would think that maybe we should do Yom Kippur first and then Rosh Hashanah, right? We're not so confident, we're insecure, we have to ask for forgiveness first, and then we can say Hashem is Melech HaOlam, approach Yom Adin with confidence and say that this is our belief and this is our God. But we actually do the opposite, and we do Rosh Hashanah first, which is a confident holiday to a certain extent. We celebrate, we eat new fruit, even though it's Yom Hadin. And Yom HaKippurim is the day that we're less secure. We move away from physical pleasures, and we concentrate on our spirituality, and we daven, and we ask for forgiveness, etc., etc. And so perhaps that's also why we read this parak, because it kind of mirrors that Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur experience in exactly that order. Just like our parak starts with a confident speaker first, and then the insecure speaker. So just like we start the year with Rosh Hashanah with confidence, and we move to Yom HaKippurim, which is a little bit less secure, this parak mirrors that as well. To make it a little bit more personal for the freshmen, what we could suggest is that as freshmen, they were coming from an 8th grade experience where they might have felt very confident. They knew the school very well. They had friends. They were the top of the middle school, and there was like a confidence there. And now they're coming into freshman year, and they are the lowest and the youngest grade in the 4-year high school experience, and so they might feel a little less secure. It might not be the same kinds of feelings that they had. And this parak kind of gives us like chizuk, Kaveh el Hashem, chazak v'yametz libecha v'kaveh el Hashem. Hashem. It's the idea of hope in God and building ourselves and growth that ultimately unifies this very normal experience that times in our lives we feel confident and times in our lives that we feel less secure, and it kind of has this message not only during the Yamim Noraim, but throughout our lives, as well as being an Eved Hashem. Moments will be wonderful and will give us a lot of hope, and then there'll be moments where we're looking for God a little bit more because we can't see Him so clearly. And so as we work on our relationships with Hashem, specifically in the month of Elul, and try to be better people on Rosh Hashanah and Yom HaKippurim, so this parak might be a beautiful choice, even though it might not have those themes of, tshuva, shofar, Rosh Hashanah, but it has the theme of our love of Hashem and constantly working on our avodas Hashem and constantly looking at our religious experience as being one that sometimes, like a seesaw, goes back and forth. Sometimes is very confident and sometimes feels less secure. Sorry, I'm rushing. I just don't want this video to be too long. But the last part of this exercise will be that you'll go through a small piece from Rav Soloveitchik that just highlights these points that we just made. Also the idea of like Hashem on Rosh Hashanah being out in the public and us coming to Him, and that Yom HaKippurim is a little bit more private. And then we're going to ask that you go back to the parak in L'Davar Hashem Uri, parak Chav Zayin of Tehillim, and choose a pasuk that spoke to you in your discussion and in your learning of this parak, and create a poster that could be decorated and created in any which way that your group decides is appropriate. You can even include your hashtags for the different parts if you'd like. And what we'll do is we'll collect them at the end and we'll create a beautiful mural of hopefully nice messages about Elul or about this parak of L'Davar Hashem Uri, and we'll hang it up on our tefillah wall for the first day of school so that we as a school can derive inspiration from this parak and from your learning. So again, any questions that you might have, please feel free to send them my way. I'll go over this again with you, please God, before orientation, and hopefully also having the Torah Shebiktav on this, the written session and materials that we'll be sending to you. Hopefully we'll make this clear, but please feel free to come and ask me any questions. And again, B'Hatzlacha, thank you so much for all your help. Looking forward to seeing you at a freshman orientation. Have a great day.